All right, today's episode features a mystery playlist of 10 songs, all UK number 25 hits from between 1963 and 1993. I've got two guests. They have no idea what those tracks are or even who the artists are, but they will find out as we go along and help me to choose four of them to play and discuss. And you at home can let us know if we made the right choices. Hey, I'm JSB. Welcome to the channel where I am delighted to have, for the very first time, two guests for the price of one. I have Bostart to my left and Shawn below me. How are you, gents? Ready to do some random chaotic music listening?
Yeah, it's great to be here, and it's great to be talking to Shawn properly for the first time, who I've been web chatting with in less direct ways for the last 4 years or so.
Yeah, same. Great to be with you guys. Great to see Bostart live and in person, and looking forward to getting after this.
For those people who are new to either this channel or some of the random things I do here, I have been running a series all throughout the year of songs that hit 25 in the charts, whether that was in the UK or the US. Why am I doing that? Because it's 2025, and well, what more do you need than that, really? Yeah. So the year might be running out, but the songs aren't. I've still got a massive list of them to get through, and I know now I'm not going to get through many at all, really. But Bostart has been on hand to help me with a few two-song episodes recently, but today we are clearing four more of them off my list and combining that with my other unique format, the random foreplay. Now, Shawn has joined me for a few of those before. Perhaps you could let folk at home know what that would usually entail.
Well, usually we get a choice of a few songs, and we got to pick the song that we want. And it sometimes turns out well, and sometimes really good songs end up against each other and they get left out. But that's how it usually works off of an album.
Exactly. And usually people know what that album is and therefore
Right,
know the
exactly.
songs. Whereas today we have the twist that it's not an album. And as I said, these two fools have no idea what's coming up. But if you're watching at home, you now can get a sneak peek of what might be on board for today, because the list of possible artists is hopefully scrolling on your screen right now if I've remembered to do that. So check it out and see if you can guess which songs will relate to which artists. So for each round, as Shawn suggested, we will get to choose between two or three mystery songs. For the benefits of the gents, I will play a few seconds of each of those, just the intro of them, and reveal the titles and the artists if needed, and then whoever is in the hot seat will choose the song they want us to hear in full. So again, do play along at home and let us know which choices you'd make in each round. So let's kick off with somebody having their first pick of three. Do I have a volunteer as to who wants to go first?
I'll cede to Bostart. I'll let him go first.
Oh, bless you.
Right. We do have a volunteer. Bostart has been volunteered by Shawn. Well, let's fire up this little list and see what we've got. I can tell you it's weirdly aligned to the early 90s. Half of the list comes from between 1990 and 1993, but there are songs from 60s, 70s, and 80s dotted in amongst the choices as well. So, with that said, here's a few seconds of the first option. Does anybody recognize that song or that artist?
Nope.
No.
I liked it, but no.
All right. Well, that is Steelers Wheel, their second biggest hit after Stuck in the Middle with You, which is called Star. So that is option one. Option two is something very different. The first few seconds of which sound a bit like this.
I write this alone in my bed. I pause in every room in the house.
Anybody feeling anything on that one?
Vaguely.
Nope.
Vaguely. Okay, Shawn's got it. I have no idea. Well, that is Manic Street Preachers. And the song is From Despair to Where from 1993. So that leaves Bostart with one final choice to make his selection from. And you're definitely going to know this artist, but whether you know the song again, who knows? this is what it sounds like.
I do, yes.
All right, what is it, Bostart?
Hmm.
You were
Oh, what's the
confident a
song?
second ago.
That's 7 Days by Sting.
It is. It is.
Did you know it, Shawn?
So,
No, I did not know it.
don't worry, Shawn. Makes it a good chance that you'll get the one song you know and your selection of three later. Maybe. Who knows? But for now, it's up to Bostart to pick one of those three. Which one do you fancy us hearing?
Now, shall I pick the one that sounds most interesting, or shall I pick the one that I can reel off some facts about? Because there's only one that fits the latter category. Neither
It's
of them
probably
is
Sting that you know anything about.
Yes, I love the 10 Summoners Tales album that comes from, but it's by no means the best song on there. Try me on. Let's do the Manics one. Let's try something different.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this will be if you don't know it and Shawn doesn't know it. I've got the album, but as with Flowers in the Dirt that Bostart and I listened to a track from the other day, I've only just got the album and I haven't actually played it yet. So this is going to be a first time listen for all three of us. Let's hope we like it.
And what's the
good
song
news
called again?
It is From Despair to Where,
Oh, yeah.
and it's only 3.5 minutes, so it shouldn't be too unbearable. So for the benefit of all of us and you at home, I should say at this point that the full songs won't be in the main video, but there'll be a link where you can hear the full tracks along with us. Otherwise, you'll just see the start and a bit at the end, and then us talking about them afterwards. So hopefully, one of those options will be the one that works for you. Well, let's do it. This is Manic Street Preachers, From Despair to Where.
I ride this alone in my bed. I pause in every room in the house.
Oh, there we go. That's a song with a proper ending that's so good it leads you straight into the next thing that's after it. So that, as Shawn knows, gets points from me already.
No fade out. Yeah, always gets points from JSB.
All right. Well, that was a first, I believe, for all of us. Or Bostart, did you actually recognise it more once we got into it?
I did a bit. I didn't know. I hadn't. I think I've got the original Forever Delayed compilation that the Manics brought out in 2000 and something, and but a lot of my knowledge of 90s music comes from the radio at work. I spent a fair chunk of the 90s working in a warehouse, and the radio was on all the time, and I was really meant to be focusing on my work, so I didn't necessarily know who was doing what. But that is something I remember. It also because it sounds very similar to Do You Remember the First Time by Pulp, which came a couple of years later. The do 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 do, and the sort of guitar chords are the same. But yeah. Yes, I think I do remember it.
And happy with your choice?
Oh yes, I am. The Manics are one band I'd quite like to really sort of delve into at some point, although my interest in them mostly stems from the two albums immediately after Richie Edwards' disappearance. And the strength of the Manics, one strength I think, is that they knew how to take strings, violins, etc., and really make it sound edgy and even sexy. The only person I can think of who could do that before was John Lennon on songs like How Do You Sleep? But you get a bit later into the 90s on songs like Design for Life and If You Tolerate This, Then Your Children Will Be Next, and they're doing it even more.
Right. And this is, of course, early Manic, so it's the full four-piece lineup with Richie still on board. And the song's credited to all four of them, though how that actually worked in practice, I don't know. If that's kind of like what Queen did later on, whether just credit everything to everybody or if it really was a collaboration.
I can tell you, well, according to Wiki, on the early albums, it's words by Richie Edwards and Nicky Wire, that's the bass player, and music by the other two. But even on the three albums he's credited on before he disappeared, Richie, what it keeps saying on Wikipedia is rhythm guitar brackets credited but doesn't play, but he's doing some backing vocals. So it sounds like they were kind of already a three-piece in terms of instrumentation.
Right. And Shawn, how did you find that? I know you've encountered some Manics over on your channel, which is for the benefit of
Yeah.
anyone who doesn't know. Reactions to the classics.
When Trey and I did the album drafts back in 2022, I listened to a lot of the Manics albums and really, really liked them. You know, as a band, I just didn't know here in the States. And so
Yeah.
I am a big fan of them. I thought, you know, the first verse was pretty interesting because James Dean Bradfield was very quiet and then it kind of built. But yeah, I thought it was really good. I mean, I can't really follow, but Bostart's a musician. He gave a fantastic breakdown. So I can't really follow that with much except to say I liked it. I thought he made a great choice. And now I got pressure on me for this choice.
Well, indeed, you do. Yeah, so for me, this was the first time, and I was trying to read the lyrics, but this is an old 90s CD, and the print is so small that my old man eyes can't see a damn thing. So,
Yeah,
no,
there's no way
couldn't
I
help
could
me.
read. I wouldn't even attempt that.
Yeah, good offering. I mean, I'd like to think that I would have gone with the adventurous option and chosen the song that I hadn't heard as well. Although I have to say, straight after we're done recording, I'm going to go and listen to this whole damn thing now. But from the songs I know, I would have had to go the Steelers Wheel route. That would have been probably my pick, but wasn't my choice to make. And neither is this one because it is indeed Shawn's turn in the hot seat, and he's a scared, nervous man at this point. But he is faced with these three choices. The first of which sounds, well, for the first 5 seconds at least, like this. One stab in the dark. Neither of you recognize that intro.
No, no.
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 Well, I can tell you that the song is called Big Wedge, and that it is the biggest
Fish.
solo song. You've got it. It's Fish from Marillion. Yeah. Whether that's a reason to play it or not is neither here nor there. It's just the facts that I'm giving you at this point. There's still 2 more choices, and the next one. This is a bit of a cheat. I've just seen what it is. It's a live version because I haven't got the studio version, but I needed something to round it out to 10. So the intro might be a bit weird because of that. Good. Right, again, we're in the early 90s. And here's a band I don't think you will have come across, Shawn. Thunder.
No, don't know him. And I'm like Bostart, I'm pretty weak on the early 90s. I mean, he was listening to the radio. I'm pretty weak on I was a little turned off by popular music in the early 90s because here in the States, it was all grunge. And, you know, I have an opinion about that I'll keep to myself.
Obviously, these tracks are not grunge, but
No, of
I know
course.
what you're saying. And of course, none of these tunes had any success in the States. So there's very little reason that you would have had to encounter them, even if you were listening to radio at the time. But Thunder, what I can say about them, 2 things. Their singer, Danny Bowes, is one of the best singers in the world ever. And their drummer, Harry James, spent quite a few years in another band that you will have heard of called Magnum.
So we got Marillion and Magnum references in our first 2 songs. How shocking, JSB.
Yeah, I know. And we could have mentioned Toto as well in the previous round.
Why not?
If Bostart had chosen the Sting track, which has Vinny on drums, who actually played on the final Toto album. So that's 3 for 3. Anyway, speaking of 3 for 3, you still got one more choice, and that is another mystery tune, I'm certain. Bostart is looking like he has an idea, maybe? No?
I don't.
No. Well, it's from this album here. Change Everything by Amitri.
Oh, yes.
Track is Just Like a Man. So, Shawn, with really no knowledge of any of these artists particularly, what do you fancy, basically? No wrong answers, obviously.
Well, I'm curious to go with the second track with your praise of the vocalist. However, it's live, so you never know how that's going to kind of play out. But yeah, let's go with that. Since you had that high level of praise for the vocalist, let's do that.
All right. Let us do that indeed. So this is the title track of their debut album, but it's from a a live recording later in the decade. So yeah, the song and the album is Backstreet Symphony, and the band is Thunder, and they sound like this. Right. It's live, so of course it has a proper ending. How did you find that, Shawn?
I really liked it. Now, here's the thing. I looked up to see when it was going on. It came out, I see, in 1990. This sounds like 1986. Like if you ask me what did 1986 sound like, it sounded like this. There's a lot of music out like this. And I like that music. It's not complicated. The lyricism's not complicated. It's just good, catchy music that I super enjoy. The guitar works fantastic. I see that Andy Taylor from Duran Duran actually produced the album. We don't hear the production, obviously, because it's live, but
Yeah,
I think I made a good choice.
I think you did. And speaking of the guitar, it's Luke Morley on guitar, who is also the band's main songwriter, who I didn't mention earlier. But I just do have to say that the drumming on that is great. And Harry is probably my third favorite of Magnum six drummers over the years, so that's pretty high praise from me. Um, kind of miss him. Thunder kept splitting up and then reforming, so Thunder would split up, he'd go to Magnum, Thunder would get back together, he'd try and do both and not really be able to manage it, so had to leave Magnum, and then Thunder would split up again and he'd come back to Magnum, and that happened a few times. Anyway, Bostart, what were your thoughts on that? Did that ring any bells for you? Because it's, again, none of these songs, obviously being number 25 hits, are hugely well known to the masses.
It didn't mean anything to me. No, I hadn't. I remember Thunder, but there's only two tracks I really remember. That's not one of them. I'll just say that one was pretty good. It's kind of spiky, I guess, but that's about all there is to it. But they did do one kind of power ballady thing that I really liked called "Love Walked In," which was just missed the top 20 in '91.
Yeah, from the same album.
Indeed, it is, and also a deep cut, which I only know because it was on a CD that came free with Q magazine, called "It Happened in This Town." That's a real. It's not just moving. It's sort of it's about. I think it was inspired by a child murder that happened in their town, or I don't know if it was inspired by it or they sort of came up with an idea for it, but yeah.
As you say, Love Walked In was. Did they have a biggest hit? I don't know. They're one of these bands, Shawn, who had a ton of top 40 hits, but never actually had a big one.
Right.
So they got 5 from this one album, which was their debut. So the album made 21. Their follow-up would actually get to number 2. But even then, they're not a band. They're a band with a big following, but not a band that the average bloke in the street would be able to tell you very much about. And they're also a band I tend to enjoy more live than I do going back to their albums, which is just a touch sterile to my ears. But two good choices from these two fine gents. And soon, I'm only going to have a choice between 2 songs and see if I can keep up the trend. There's 4 songs left, which means I'm going to get a choice of 2. And then what will happen is we'll hear what the last 2 songs are and democratically vote between us to find out which our final track will be. First of all, my choices look and sound a bit like this. This is my first choice.
Mary had a little lamb, his fleece was white as snow.
Anybody want to speculate as to what that little thing might be?
All I know is it's not Wings, because they did a version of Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Yes, they did. It's not actually Mary Had a Little Lamb, thank God. It's not quite that bad. It's the debut single from
the
Hollies. It's Ain't That Just Like Me from 1963. So it is the both shortest and oldest songs on the list. By my reckoning, it's also the worst. So I'm almost certain to play my other choice, whatever that might be. And that sounds like...
Yeah.
Now, there's one I feel like we all might recognize. Shawn, does it feel nice to have a familiar sound coming through the headphones at once?
I'm not going to dream that it's over. So yeah. That song was higher than 25 in the US. Don't dream it's over. I'm pretty sure. Or was it not?
By a mile, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was number 2 in the US, and
it was everywhere.
It's a source of national shame to us Kiwis that it wasn't until after it broke in America that we decided that actually maybe we should play that on the radio as well.
Wow. That's a rarity that the US is ahead on anything, music-wise or anything else. Yeah.
Obviously, the US love affair with Crowded House only lasted to one more song, and then you forgot about them completely. But you started them off, so it's something.
And ours happened.
You're actually just saying.
ours happened a little bit later when they got to the 3rd and 4th albums.
Yeah, that's right. Although this one did all right to start with, but it did actually reach its peak originally, if you see what I mean. But we'll come to that. Let's hear the song first. I know we all know this one. No singing it along, as per the usual rules. But let's enjoy a Kiwi classic. Yeah, I said Kiwi classic. If you're an Aussie and you have any problem with that, tough. Anyway, here we go. Right, as fade outs go, that's acceptable to me. It wasn't too long and drawn out, and didn't have a chorus that repeated over and over again like all of the Police songs that we talked about last week. So yeah, that was my pick, and a damn fine one, I have to say, if only because the Hollies singing multiple nursery rhymes is, I've always thought, a bizarre debut single, but there you go. Also, the UK chart stats for the song are pretty weird. They did get into the top 30 in '87, where it hit number 27, and it had an 11-week run at that point, which is longer than any of the other songs that we talked about today, which have all been 4 or 5 weeks each. And then they had a best of over here called Recurring Dream, which hit number 1 stunningly, and had a couple of new songs that were singles as well. But then this got re-released. Only spent 2 more weeks in the charts at that point, but got the new peak of 25. And then last year, it was back in the charts for another 5 weeks and had a new, well, not a new peak, but it peaked at 32 in that little run. And I have no idea what led to that. Used in a film or an ad or something along those lines, but if so, it completely passed me by. But yeah, I just tell you that for reporting's sake. But yeah, I mean, I haven't got too much to say about the song itself, other than it's a damn classic, and anybody who disagrees is wrong. So now it's over to you. Do you disagree?
I'll just say that
sure,
the song is timeless, right? It's recorded in 1986, and talking about how it came back in the charts last year. A lot of 80s stuff, we all know this sounds dated or of its time, but this song with the melody and everything, it's almost a perfect construction of a song. Like it stands the test of time, whether it was 86 or 87 or now, and that's kind of a testament to it.
And do you think, based on what you said about our previous song, where you said it sounds like 1986, does that sound a little less like 1986 despite
way less
from that year?
Yeah, way less. That's kind of the point. I don't think it sounds of its time. It doesn't really sound of any time necessarily.
Yeah.
And I think that helps songs like this to stay timeless and relevant when new people hear it.
Yeah, and it's definitely one of those songs that has taken on a life of its own beyond its initial, well, outside of the US, of course, where it was huge. But I mean, it was number 1 in Canada as well, and number 1 in New Zealand eventually. But yeah, wasn't one of their big songs. I mean, it's funny, Crowded House are kind of revered over here in a way that, again, their chart statistics don't really match up with, because like Thunder, beyond Weather With You, which was top 10 here, they had an awful lot of singles, but most of them were kind of in the top 30 rather than higher. But But I'm always interested in things like that. But then again, and again, this is true of a lot of the things that have been on this list, the albums that they're from were top 10 or better and quite big sellers. So they're not necessarily singles artists that we're listening to, because obviously this is stuff that is all in my collection, and I'm not particularly pop oriented generally. So, gents, we are left with 2 songs. I happen to know what they are. You don't.
You haven't asked me what I thought about Don't Dream It's Over yet.
Oh, I'm sure I have. Sorry. No, we'll do mention it, because I'm sure you have something to say first up.
Thank you. Okay. Well, no, I'm. So I was only going to say, I mean, you probably didn't, because to friends such as yourselves in these circles, my love of Crowded House, certainly of their original run, is well known. But that track's got it all, and I think Nick Seymour's bass fills deserve a shout out, as does that wonderful organ playing by Mitchell Froome, which is kind of based on Whiter Shade of Pale, which itself is based on Bach's Air in a G string. But there you go. I'll say that Crowded House, part of the impact they had on me was, I listened to a lot of quite emotional stuff, Fleetwood Mac, Bee Gees, and kind of got me through hard times. We've all had hard times, but it was songs like some of Crowded House's songs, or some of Neil Finn's even Split End songs like Don't Dream It's Over, that really encouraged me to sort of get my eyes off my navel and have some hope.
Well, I'm glad that you chipped in with that, because that is what music's all about, isn't it? It's certainly what keeps me listening to it most of my waking hours. And speaking of musicians, I should say as well that we've got, obviously Neil is on guitar, but there's also LA session guitarist Tim Pierce on that track, and I don't really know which of them is doing what, but yeah, he's a guy who strangely doesn't have many Toto connections at all, despite being an LA session musician. That's pretty weird.
Well, you know what? Luke's good enough to cover it all.
Exactly. All right, so final choice of the day. This is democracy in action. What could possibly go wrong? We could look at either of our countries and ask that question. So we won't get political, probably. As I say, I know what's left, so it's 2 very different tracks. So hopefully one of them will take our collective fancy. So let's just let the last few silent seconds of Crowded House play out. And our first choice is this one. Again, this is not a famous intro that's going to ring any bells with anybody, I'm going to guess. But it's our other 60s tune. It's called Maria Elena, I'm Going to War. And it's by Gene Pitney. Who I will say, no, maybe I shouldn't say, I don't want to influence you chaps in any way, shape, or form as to your decision-making process, which means our final choice will be this one. I'm curious to see if anybody recognizes this, so let's see. All right. Any takers on that?
I believe that is the Jams version of David Watts by the Kinks.
Spot on. Top of the class. Yes, it is. I've only got a best of the Jam there. It is, of course, from the All Mod Cons album, although it predated that. And it was a double A side, but I've gone with that because it's the one that everybody lists first, basically. A-Bomb in Wardour Street was the other option there. So, Shawn, I think you've probably heard that song once if you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've heard it once because we reviewed the album. The Gene Pitney song sounded awfully dramatic, and then when you said the title of it, it made sense. I'm going to go with the Jam, but boys, you could convince me either way. I'm pretty in the middle here, so I'm good either way. But I guess I got to vote, so I'll go with the Jam.
Yeah, you go with the Jam. Bostart, how about you?
I'm going with the Jam.
So it doesn't matter what you think, JSB. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter what
Bostart and I rule.
So I'm going to go with Gene Pitney.
Who
And it
cares?
makes no difference because I've been outvoted, which is fine. A great second choice. This is a good one to end on, I think. And how familiar, by the way, as Bostart mentioned, it's a cover of the Kinks track. So how familiar are we with the original versus the cover? Not very.
If you're asking me, I did actually, although the Jam version was the hit, it's the Kinks version that I was first familiar with, because somebody copied his Kinks compilation for my dad, which like had all the 60s hits plus a few 60s album cuts that had been hit covers like that one, and the original comes from Something Else by the Kinks, which, forget Village Green. For me, Something Else is the classic Kinks album.
Right. And another note about this version is, for anybody who knows the Jam, they're probably thinking, Paul Weller. Well, yes, but he's not on lead vocals on this one. It's Bruce Foxton taking charge. So let's hear what that sounds like. And that is like this. All right. That's a nice way to wrap up our 4 tracks for today, even if it's not the song I've chosen personally. But you guys did choose it. So, Shawn, you chose it first. So I'll come to you first.
I mean, I like it. Great musicianship, right? The guitar work, the keyboard work. I didn't love it. I liked it though. I mean, there's some other songs I'll say that I liked more that we heard today, but I still liked it, but I didn't remember it from that one listen. I went back and looked. It was February of 2021 when Trey and I reviewed this album. So didn't quite remember it, but yeah.
That's fair enough. I mean, I don't think for me that it's there's plenty more on this best of that overrule it's, but it was selected based solely on its chart position. But Bostart, what's your take on that, given that you are obviously a fan of the original particularly?
Well, it's a good song in either version, although I do prefer the original. I'm going to let Ray Davies say something here, since he wrote it. This comes from the sleeve notes of Something Else by the Kinks. He makes one remark about David Watts. He says, "Who has not known that abominable golden schoolboy?"
Yeah, it was. To be fair, it was probably me when I was growing up, wasn't it?
Definitely wasn't me.
No. So on that bombshell, we had 10 songs to choose from. We heard 4 of them, but did we make the right choices? I'm going to go around the panel and ask everyone to say, out of the 4 tracks we heard today, what their favourite was, and if they have one, which song we didn't hear that they wish we'd heard. You at home can also let us know what you feel on this. But Bostart, I'll start with you. What was your pick of those 4?
I think just because I like story songs, so I'm always caught between, do I choose a story song or do I choose a really emotional song with a deep theme like Don't Dream It's Over? But for me, it's story songs that really make pop rock interesting, so I'm going to go David Watts.
Cool. And was there a track that we didn't hear that you were hoping somebody would choose, including yourself, if you had to make a tough choice?
I have to admit that Gene Pitney would have been interesting to hear. That may surprise you to hear from me, but as the minute I heard it, I thought, I like this. Horns, bit of acoustic guitar, and sounds like a kind of would have been a powerful theme at the time. Certainly would have been a powerful theme in America, because I know you guys were at war at that time. We very wisely chose not to take part in that one.
Indeed, which might be why it was a hit here and didn't even chart in the States, like so many of these other songs that we're talking about. All right, Shawn, how about you? What was your favourite and one that you might have wanted to hear that we didn't get to?
Well, I'll echo Bostart on the Gene Pitney. It was really close for me on that. And actually, another song that I would have liked to have heard just because it sounds like it's not very good is the Hollies. And like you said, interested for that to be your first single. Record companies weren't doing many favors, but I guess it worked out for them. Favorite song, I mean, I'll go down the middle, what you would expect. Don't Dream It's Over. Probably familiarity bias. But I also really did like that Thunder song. And I'm going to go actually listen to some more Thunder. I'll go listen to that debut if I can find it anywhere.
Well, the debut should be around. I mean, it did actually chart in America. It made 114.
Wow, let's
After
go.
which, that was their sole US chart entry. Um, I never heard of them in New Zealand. It wasn't until I got over here that they even entered my consciousness at all. So for me, um, yeah, everybody, as far as I'm concerned, chose really badly, apart from me. But what can you do when you invite guests around to your house? You just got to let them do what they will. So, my favourite was "Don't Dream It's Over." How can I say anything else, really? Um, and I think my favourite track that we didn't hear was the Steelers Wheel song "Star," which was early on. But yeah, I mean, I would have gone with that if I was doing the whole lot by myself, like I used to in the boring old days. I would have gone with Star to start with. The Amitri track probably for the second one. Obviously, Don't Dream It's Over because that was my choice anyway, and then would have ended with Gene Pitney. And Gene does do pretty nicely on the channel when I've had things up from him before. They're really sleeper videos that don't do much when you put them out, but then they just keep gradually creeping up because there are people out there who go looking for Gene stuff, and so they should because he's great. Well, he's not anymore, he's dead, but he was great. All right, well, that was a fun episode. I hope everybody enjoyed that, not just me.
Oh
And we
yes.
might, we might even reconvene sometime soon to do the same with some US number 25 hits, which would have Shawn on surer footing for the most part, I would expect. And there's some big names on my list of those for us to contend with at some point. Meanwhile, the full playlist of related songs that I've checked out for the series so far should be somewhere on your screens right about now. So all it remains for me to say is thanks very much again to Bostart and to Shawn for joining and playing. Thanks to you for watching, and it's bye for now, but not for long.
It's the end, but the moment has been prepared for.